If you're not currently living the life that you want, then this is the boot up the bum that you probably need to actually make it happen. Because how many more times are you going to say, oh, this is the year that we get this, we get that, we get the other, only to give up like in a couple of weeks, right? And the thing about manifestation, reality creation, and all that stuff is that it is frustratingly simple. So in a nutshell, this is the only equation you need, right? Your thoughts, your feelings, your language, that's the words that you speak, and your actions need to be in alignment with the life that you desire. When you have all of these things, when your thoughts and feelings and language and action are all in alignment with the life that you want, it has no choice but to materialize for you. And it's often that simplicity that actually stops us from really putting it all into action. And I don't care who you are, I don't care where you are in your journey of life, everybody needs this boot up the bum occasionally. Now, this is the work that I do with my clients who are generally 6- and 7-figure business owners, entrepreneurs and leaders in their field who feel stuck, who have plateaued, who know that there's so much more available to them that they just can't seem to get. So if that is you, then you'll find a link in the description to get on a call with me about working together. And if that's not you yet, but you know that that is somewhere where you want to be, then stick around to the end, because this year I'm releasing more and more ways of working with me privately. Because like I say, this stuff is simple, but it's not always easy. And so having somebody, namely me, by your side as you do this, it makes the journey just that much easier. So how long are you going to keep telling a story that doesn't align with the life that you want? How long are you going to, say on one hand, yes, I want 50K months, I want 100K months, I want $1 million months. And then on the next hand, you say, there's just no clients out there. This is a really bad time. The economies of the world are just disastrous at the moment. Can you see how that, the economy, the clients not being available, are completely out of alignment with your desired income? Because when you tell that story of the fact that, these clients are hard to come by or the economies are working against me, then the actions that you put out into the world won't be in alignment with your desired life either. And if you're just working on a physical plane, which, to use Joe Dispenza terminology, where you are matter trying to affect matter, that is hard work. That is all the masculine energy and none of the feminine energy that you need. And this is how we burn out. That's how I burned out of my previous career. Because I forgot, or actually at that point, I didn't even know that this little human on the planet, my Janet on the planet, was the smallest part of me. I didn't know that I was connected to infinite intelligence. I didn't know that every thought I think is then a thought that universal mind thinks too. Because we are creation centers of universal mind, of God source universe, right? So when you tell a story of there's no clients available right now, or people won't pay me for that stuff, then God source universe has no choice but to say yes, because you're directing its mind. So you've got to keep your story straight. I want you to just notice how many times a day you contradict the dream that you have. How many times a day have you been telling yourself a story of you can't afford it, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do the other, instead of this is already done. I absolutely can do it by virtue of the fact that I want to. I get to have it just because I do, and that's enough. The fact that I want it means that there is a pathway to it that is already being created. All I need to do is get out of my own way. And the way that you get out of your way is to stop telling a contradictory story. Stop thinking contradictory thoughts. Know that you are already the vibration of everything that you want. And you're just muddying the waters with all your doubts and your fears and your, like I say, your contradictions. So you get to ask yourself, how long are you going to keep telling that story of poverty? How long are you going to keep telling that story of it has to be a struggle? How long are you going to keep telling the story of you're not good enough yet? because you are. If you have a desire, you are good enough, you are worthy enough, you are deserving enough to get it. So you get to decide when you stop telling the story that contradicts your desire. Is it going to be now? Or have you got a load of reasons of why you can't do it now? What are those reasons? Who told you those reasons? Why are you believing them to be true? What are all the reasons that you're telling yourself of why you can't have your dream? How long are you going to keep believing that? Because the moment you decide that there is no other way, that there is no other path, that there are no more doors along the corridor, the only door that is available to you is the door that leads you to your dream, that's when you'll actually get it. When you truly understand that it is already created, when you truly know that everything that you want is already yours. And I know that you've heard this 1,000 times before. You cannot achieve anything unless you already know that it is yours in your mind. When you truly understand that abundance is just a thought form, it's nothing to do with, the numbers on a bank account. I've worked with multimillionaires who did not believe that they had enough money, despite the fact that, whilst we were working together, they paid off all their mortgages. Please notice the plural. So abundance, being wealthy, is a state of being. It is not a number on your bank account. So I challenge you, if you want more love, if you want more money, if you want more health, to notice everywhere that you are abundant in those areas right now already. Because it is that energy of gratitude, that energy of abundance consciousness that will bring more of that to you. If you can feel abundant with the amount of money that you currently have in your bank account, then you will increase that amount of money. If, on the other hand, you're still telling this story of it's not enough, then all you're going to manifest is more not enoughness. So again, I ask you, how long are you going to keep telling a story that is contradictory to the life that you wish to live? And I know that some of you are going to be sat there saying, well, yeah, I've got some money in the bank account, but it doesn't feel like enough. Well, is it enough for the next hour? Is it enough for the next day? Because if it is, who knows what can happen in the next hour, in the next day? Just be in the abundance of your life right now, this moment, right now in this present moment. Because right now in this present moment, I almost guarantee that you have enough. You have always had enough to bring you to this point in your life. So why wouldn't you have enough going forwards? So be in that state of being, right? Know that you are enough. Know that you have enough. Know that you are abundant. Know that abundance comes to you easily. Now, on my fridge, along with this one, because I've stuck this on my fridge because it's just a really good reminder. Oh, yeah, thoughts, feelings, language, action, they all create the life that I live. Are they in alignment? I get to ask myself that multiple times a day. I get to check in with myself. I invite you to do the same. The other thing that's on my fridge is this one that I got from a Stuart Wilde book. Can't remember the name of it now. Something to do with the trick to money is having some, or something like that. Anyway, it's called, this says, I am always in the right place at the right time. Abundance is simple and natural to me, and all of my needs are constantly met. I am always in the right place at the right time. Abundance is simple and natural to me, and all of my needs are constantly met. Can you believe this to be true? If you can, and if you really get into the emotional state of this statement, then abundance is absolutely yours in all of its forms. You don't need to keep worrying about where the next penny is coming from. You just know that you always have enough. You know that money always comes. You know that love always comes. You know that you already are and already have everything that you want. And all you need to do is stop putting up the obstacles that, you have chosen subconsciously, probably, to put in your way to make life a little bit more exciting. So decide decide now, make this the year that you do actually get everything that you want. Make this the year that you do actually keep telling yourself the story of your abundance, of your huge amounts of love, of the perfect relationship that makes you happy and brings you joy, of the career that brings you the satisfaction and fulfillment. Make this the year that that is the only story you tell. Because again, how many more times are you going to keep telling the story that contradicts that? And like I say, this is the work that I do with my private clients, who are generally 6- and 7-figure business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders in their field. But if you're not there yet, then there are new ways of working with me this year. There are 2 new ways of just email support. So that's either 7 or 21 days where I will help you to become aware of how in alignment you are. Yeah. Because it's all about awareness. It's all about consciousness. When you truly understand that you are God consciousness, you are, God source universe is in you, then that's really the only story that you need. But our little humans are here to experience a human experience. And part of that human experience is remembering all that we are. So like I say, there are 2 email support services that I'm now offering. And the other one-to-one service that I'm offering this year is a version of my Mohapi Method to More signature program, which is 12 weeks, 12 consecutive weeks where we meet every week. This is 8 weeks where we meet every other week, but we still have, email conversations in the meantime. And I'm offering these extra programs because so many people have told me that they really want to work with me privately, but they're not yet in a financial situation where they can invest in my full Mohapi Method to More signature program. That's the 12-week one. So there are options, and you will find all the links to all of them in the description. So my last question is, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for before you start aligning your thoughts, your feelings, every word that you speak, your action? What are you waiting for? It is simple. And I know that it's not easy, which is why I help people to do it. But it is simple. And you can do this. You can do this on your own. I just help you to expand your awareness of what you're saying, because we don't always know. We think we're telling one story, but we're actually telling another. And that's because the stories that, have made us who we are so deeply ingrained. But it really is just a decision to make a different belief, to create a different belief, to create a different thought that produces a different feeling and a different action, which of course produce a different result. Like I say, simple, right? You can do it. And if you want my help, like I say, the links are in the description. Now you will find another video just there. That one is a very deep dive into all the Hermetic principles and how they match up with the whole manifestation process. So get off your ass and let's make this year everything that we want it to be. I'll see you next time. Bye.